But first tonight, I can bring you the big political news that a group of federal Liberal MPs, many from the moderate faction but not all, are demanding the Morrison government take more action on climate change. Already some Liberal MPs, including Trent Zimmerman, Jason Falinski and the member for Higgins, Katie Allen, have spoken about the issue with the Deputy Leader and Treasurer Josh Frydenberg in private. The group of MPs who want the government to take more action to reduce emissions, and as I say, they're not just from the moderate faction, some of them are from electorates where they say there's been a palpable shift in attitude to climate change following the horror bushfire season we've just had. One of the things that some of these MPs want Morrison to do is to commit to dropping the use of carryover credits to meet the Paris targets. One moderate MP told me, and this is a quote, "I think there is a shift on inside the government when it comes to climate change." But a fight is brewing because some Conservative MPs say enough is already being done to reduce emissions. One senior Conservative said that despite the mounting campaign for climate action after the worst bushfire season on record, the coalition's policy will not change. In the upper levels of the Morrison government, the view is that there has been a shift in the way the public considers climate change, but not to the extent that the ABC, The Guardian and all of those lefties on Twitter make out. The Prime Minister's own view, I understand, is that a new overarching emissions reduction policy is actually not necessary because emissions are coming down and our international commitments will be met. His comments, when he says that we're going to meet and beat our targets, they're very quickly dismissed by his critics. But a couple of academic reports actually show that what he's saying is true. There's the Federal Department of Environment and Energy's report that was released just in December. It's called Australia's Emissions Projections 2019. And it shows that by 2030, the renewable share of generation is expected to hit 48%. So if these projections hold true, Australia would well and truly have surpassed the Paris commitments by 2030. An ANU report, that's the Australian National University report, and as we know, they're no friends of the government, they also broadly support this view. The report, published in February 2019, found that Australia is installing renewable energy faster per capita than other countries, and that, and this is a quote, our electricity sector is on track to deliver Australia's entire Paris emissions reduction target 5 years early in 2025. The report said Australia is on track for deep and rapid greenhouse emissions reductions through deep renewable electrification, and much of the world can readily follow the Australian path. Yet, contrary to these independent reports, the view internationally and among voters is that the Morrison government denies climate change and is slow to act. This is partly a result of some irresponsible fake news from media outlets like The Guardian, but it's also because of confusion that climate deniers like Craig Kelly have made, and people think that he actually speaks for official government policy. There's a widespread view, though, among both Conservative and moderate MPs that Morrison needs to do a more persuasive job of convincing voters that the government is meeting its international commitments. But after the worst bushfire season on record, with much of the world declaring that in Australia we're on the front line of the climate crisis, I can tell you one thing. Neither of Australia's two major political parties have an integrated climate change policy to reduce emissions, and this isn't about to change anytime soon.